Don't say Tachman and have that, but have all this, or not really, so that's not fair.
And listen.
Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, substituting temporarily for Rabbi Levitt. We're learning Gemora now, Bava Kama, Daf Mem Daled Amid Aleph. Maybe we'll just review the Mishnah and then we'll go into the Gemora that we were discussing yesterday. So, who would like to read the Gemora or the Mishnah? We'll start with the Mishnah and then we'll go into the Gemora.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Sure, Shehaya Mischakech B'chotel V'nafal al Ha'adam. A shore that was rubbing against a wall and it fell on a man.
The wall fell on the man, right?
The wall fell on the man. Correct.
Because you could maybe, why couldn't we learn that the cow slipped and fell on a person? Why do we have to learn that the wall fell on the person?
You could with the way it's worded. The cow was rubbing and fell on a man.
Could we fit that into the motion of the Mishnah? What do you say, Rachman? You like that shot?
The cow didn't fall, it's the wall that fell.
How do you know?
It says Nafan. It says Kota Nafan.
The
This is
Kota.
Uloi Pir.
The shore fell, was rubbing on the wall, and it fell.
Nafan.
Fell on the person. So the last thing you were talking about, you would assume it to be the last thing you were talking about, which was the wall. So the wall would be the thing that fell on the person.
Because I'm just trying to contrast that what we're going to be discussing in the Gemara.
Because it would make, if it's just shore that fell on Adam, if there was no point in the wall, you could just say the shore that fell on Adam. Why say that he's rubbing on it? How does that affect it?
It affects the kavanah of the shore.
So
Did he purposely fall on the man, or did he slip because he was rubbing on the wall?
But he's still.
How would you say it if you wanted to say that the shore fell on the man while he
Shore
was
to
rubbing?
fall on Adam. Shore to fall on Adam.
But you want to say when he's rubbing on the wall.
So there has to be a reason for rubbing on the wall. Doesn't matter the fact that he's rubbing on the wall.
If you wanted to say that the shore was rubbing on the wall and fell on a man, how would you say it?
What?
If you want to say that a shore was rubbing on a wall and fell on a man, how would you say it? You'd say it just like this. You'd say Hashor Nafal al Adam the Kotel. That wouldn't make sense.
You could say Bizman Shahaya Mechachei Kotel.
Oh, there's a good answer.
But that doesn't say that.
Let's say at the time that he's rubbing on the wall, he fell on the man.
But it didn't say he fell from there. The question is, we're talking about what fell on man. Right? I think the intention is that the wall fell on the man. So it's an indirect.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's mukra. I don't know if it's definitively that way.
Lecture?
Yeah.
Niskavein leharog et ha-behema v'harag et ha-adam. He intended to kill an animal, but killed a man. Lich na'ani v'harag et Yisrael. He intended to kill a Canaanite, but killed a Jew. Lin falim v'harag et kayama. He intended to kill a non-viable baby, but he killed a viable baby. Patur. He's exempt.
From what?
In all of these cases, the ox is exempt from death.
Okay, very good. So the shore doesn't get killed. Okay. Let's see the Gemora.
Amar Shmuel. Shmuel said, Patur mi misa hachayav the kofir. The patur is from death, but nevertheless, the owner is obligated to pay kofir. Rav Amar, and Rav said, Patur mizeh umizeh. He's exempt from both misa and kofir. The ox is exempt from misa, and the owner is exempt from kofir. V'amai, why? Ha, tam, who? But why should the ox be liable for death? He's a tam, and tam shouldn't be liable for death. Kida Amar Rav, and it's like Rav said, B'muad li pol al b'nei adam, with a ox that fell on a man or on men.
Well, this is a muad. He's a muadly.
A muad, right? A muad that fell on. So in other words, we're relating to another case.
Good.
Where Rob was talking about a situation where you had an ox that fell into a pit onto a man, and then did it again and again 3 times with witnesses. This ox killed 3 different men by falling onto them when they were in pits. Hacha nami, here also in our case, the muad, we're dealing with a muad lehit keich that rubbed al b'nei adam on a person bichtalin with walls. We're dealing with a person with a muad for rubbing against walls to topple them onto people.
Was that I'm not sure if that's what the words mean here. Right? Hachanami b'muad la'eschachech al b'nei adam b'kosli.
To rub on walls with, rub on people with walls. That's what it literally means, right?
What do we think? What does it literally mean? B'moed l'eschachech al b'nei adam b'kosli.
Well, his chakech is to rub.
Yeah. Al.
Al is on.
Yeah.
B'nei Adam is people. The koslim is with walls.
Yeah. So
He rubs
describe
on people with walls.
He rubs on people with walls. Creative ox over here, right? How do we picture the situation based on these words? What's the scenario? It's chachich al b'nei adam b'choislim.
It's very, very difficult wording.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, because it doesn't say v'nafal.
Yeah, but no, forget about the nefila right now. No, nothing's falling down now here. No, there's no one's falling down here. Not the shore, not the person, not the wall.
Well, we're presuming that it means that the wall falls.
Well, that's because you're influenced on what you read in the Mishnah.
Right.
Right, so don't be influenced by that.
But it
Just
says
be
here
influenced
too
by
in
what
our
the words.
Mishnah.
What the words just influence? Let the words influence you.
But wait a second, it says hachanami here too, referring to our Mishnah. So don't we have to bring our Mishnah and combine what's in our Mishnah with this sentence to
Well,
understand?
that depends which direction you're going. You know, you're trying to force our Mishnah into these words or these words into the Mishnah. What do you say, Yechiel? What are you trying to force in here? A round peg into a square hole or a square hole into a round peg?
Either way, I'm in trouble.
Rachel, what do you say, Rachel? Yechiel, what? No, let's go. Nick the Zard of Marbin with Simcha, right? We got a Levitt Nick here. That's
No, that's
have
tomorrow.
to get a bottle of wine.
Not yet, not yet.
Tonight, not tomorrow, tonight.
Tonight's
What do you say,
tomorrow.
Roy? What do you have to say
Keep
about
your
this
calendar.
Gemora?
Come on, wake up, wake up.
That's what they said about the boar. What's the story with the boar over here? All of a sudden,
What? Who?
They fell in the hole.
Yeah, we got the boar, right. So
That's
what's this? Okay.
There's another case
Yeah.
where a ox 3 times fell into a pit and killed a person that was on the bottom of the pit. And so they
Survived to
established,
do it 3 times. This is amazing.
Well,
They
they
established-
took a leap and it landed right on the guy. So the guy coached his.
Climbed out of the board and did it again.
No,
So they climbed out of the bore and ran into the swamp.
Yeah.
And then came back and did it again. Otherwise, we would have killed him the first time.
That's the story over here, exactly.
That's
Right,
the
he
reason.
climbed out of the
But
bore,
that's the
ran
reason.
into the
But that's the
swamp.
reason why. That's the whole point of the question. This whole thing. Stop reading Gemora. The whole point is we try to peg it on to being a Tom. We're trying to say it's a Tom because obviously if he's a Muad, the guy wouldn't be killed.
Right.
He wouldn't be put to Mizah.
Right.
It's only in a Tom that we're talking about Pater. We're saying, oh, a Muad wouldn't be Pater for Misa.
Under Rabbah, it's saying, why is it bothering to tell us that he's putter?
Right.
If he's a Tom, obviously he's putter. It would only be a chiddush to say he's putter if he was a muad.
If
That's
Tom,
the point.
But if Tom does it with Kavana,
He gets
he
skilled.
gets skill also. Even Tom gets skill with Kavana.
It was Bekavana, but our
But
mission
how are
was
you going to say
Lola,
that he's
Bekavana.
kavana when he
That's what the whole concept of
scratched
Muad
against
is.
the
So
wall?
the first Mishnah says that he wasn't Bekavana, he was scratching his back, first of all. So
Number one.
Right,
that's
exactly.
the next three could
Right,
be that
we're
he
talking
is
about the
Muad.
first one.
The first one sounds it's a Muad, the next three it sounds like it's the first one sounds like it's Tam, and
Yeah.
the next three it sounds like it's Muad.
Well,
What we're
You
trying
can
to
play the
say
game.
here,
You could play the game, there could be the next three are Muad. The
well,
first one,
well, I know if it's more maybe Kavana, maybe you could say he had Kavana, but he missed the mark. He had Kavana for this, he missed and he killed somebody else, something else.
I think it's all together, all these three are together, maybe it's the same shore altogether.
One or all three together, we asked about that.
I don't know.
That's why I asked, how many cases do we have here? If it's,
First of all, I was looking yesterday, there's also that it's maybe it's the same shore.
could be,
And
yeah.
that's a story it's a moy because they said he ran away. That's the whole mindset. Well, they never tied him up good because they ran away, like you said, they ran away all the time. No, there's a lot of games out here in this mission.
okay, but what it's talking
So
about
look-
here with the muad is it's saying that there was another case, another discussion, where a ox was declared to be a muad for falling on people in pits. And they're trying now to relate that case to this case. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're saying, just like there, it was possible that an ox could become a muad for falling in pits. Here, a ox can become a muad for scratching walls.
Right,
That's-
yeah, that's what he says.
So therefore, it seems to me it has to be that he scratched the wall and the wall fell on the person.
That fits into the words very good.
It doesn't.
It's not very good. It's not very good. If you want to rewrite the Gemora, you have to
But there
go
is-
back a couple of thousand years.
But again, there is a big difference in that. In that other case, the shore itself fell on it, and in this case, it's not the shore that fell on it. It's it's that wall that fell
That's-
on it because of the shore.
That's how we-
It's a second level of thing. So does it apply? Does it not apply
Right.
when it's a secondary damage?
So that's the first case of the Gemora, of the Mishnah, perhaps. Unless you learn like I want to learn, Shor Shari Miskakit B'Kosav V'Nafal Ha'am. It was rubbing on the wall and slipped, and then the cow fell on the other.
Yeah, well, in that case, it's a different case. Isn't it?
Well, I think that might be very close to the case of the
That's the
boar.
case.
Of the boar, that's closer to the case of the boar than
Right.
the other one. The other one would not be the case.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you can
Because he
read-
was looking for the
You
yerek,
can
and
read
he
this sentence
slipped,
that way also.
and he fell into the boar, right? That's very similar to the case of the boar.
He's trying to scratch on the wall and he slips and he falls on the person.
Why couldn't you say that? Why, that would be similar to the other three cases. He's trying to kill a Kenani, he kills a Yid.
Right.
He's trying to do this,
Right.
he does something instead.
Right.
But in the first case, if you learn the way that we have been learning up until today, it's scratching on the wall and the wall fell down on the person, right? So that's a little bit of a different type of a case than the other three cases, where he's trying to do this and he makes a mistake.
Not only that, but it's easier to imagine kavana, quote kavana, for the ox to kill the person if he rubs against the wall and then falls on the person,
Right.
than if he rubs against the wall and the wall falls on the person. Because the kavana for the ox, how's the ox gonna imagine that it's cause and effect relationship?
Right.
It's too complex for an ox's brain.
Perhaps.
But for an ox's brain to imagine falling on this person,
Mhm.
it's not so complex.
True.
So I'm supporting you.
Okay.
What is the Rashi saying? Say something?
Rashi, there's no Rashi in the Mishnah.
No Rashi.
Rashi helped us out here. let's see here. Lawful. Okay, no, it's a. They report down here that well, Heinrich it says here that the V'chein Noked HaMishnah the Lashon V'nafal Koloma Shashur Atzmo Nafal.
Whoa.
Right.
So he's a tam.
Who are you reading?
This is the
But it says,
Malachas Menuki Yosef could be maybe the Malachas Shlomo, one of the Mekorshim.
it's by you also in certain things. Also, you also.
So he's saying exactly what you said.
The word, it's just the word says peel. It doesn't say peel. It says nafal.
Nafal. Right.
Who's
So
that
what-
going on the wall of the shore?
The nafal. A short nafal.
Nafal. It doesn't say Hapilo. It doesn't say Hapilo.
What killed the person?
If it was the way we learn it, Shor Shayim Miskachei Chapoven V'nifal Ala Adam. V'nifal Ala Adam would be the wall that the shore was doing something and fell on the person.
The wall fell.
That if it used it was Yosef Vahapilu, and he caused the wall to fall on the person. But that's not what it says. V'nafal ala Adam. So they want to say v'nafal ala Adam Kaloma Shashua Atzmo Nafal.
See, you do not.
So what killed the person?
Sure jumped, fell on him, he died. Doesn't matter. Either way, door, wall, doesn't matter. Sure did.
And that would be in keeping with the other three cases. The shore wanted to scratch on the wall, and it slipped and fell the shore on the person, right, and killed him. Not that the wall fell down.
Okay.
That's number one.
Right.
I think we have to mafreed every one and go through it and then decide which one what it does.
So let's take a look at the next case. We'll back up. Let's take a
There's an interesting footnote here.
Sure.
In the art scroll.
Okay.
It says the Mishnah states v'nafal al hadam, and it collapsed on a man, implying that the ox had not intended to topple.
That's what he said.
Le-
Peel. No,
Wait a minute, I am lehafil, so that if it was, so it's making a distinction between v'nafal and lehafil.
Good.
Saying lehafil would mean to topple, whereas v'nafal means to collapse.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's.
That doesn't solve our problem.
No, that's going the other way of looking at it, the way we've been learning up till now. That
Right.
the wall was pushed down by the shore when it was rubbing against the wall, right? The shore shayim is chachek because so the shore is rubbing against the wall. The nafal all Adam and the wall. That's how we were learning. The wall fell on the person. Right? That the shore, the animal toppled the wall. Okay.
Apparently it's quoting Tosfos. So apparently Tosfos reads it that way.
Yeah, so if you take a look at the Tosfos, look at you have the Tosfos here, it's the last couple of lines, you have the Tosfos, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth, 1, 2, 3, the fourth Tosfos, with different amounts of Hatamhu, you have Tam,
Got it.
Hatam. Now go down into the middle-sized lines, just before the next Tosfos. You see the next Tosfos of Hachanami? Go back 3 lines into that Tosfos, right?
Shapatur?
You have Hamaksha, you have this Hamaksha Hayasavur, the one who's asking a question. This is already going in the Gemora, but according to the question that was asked in the Gemora, we want to say this is the Pshat. But look what Tosfos says about this, right? Hamaksha Savur, Rachman, you want to read that for us? Everyone have the spot?
Yeah. Makshan means he's the one that said it's a tam.
The one who's asking that it was the question, who was asking that it was a question. Tam.
Tam.
He was asking it's a tam.
Makshan hayasavur, that in the Mishnah Matniti, Nafal, use the word Nafal,
Ala Adam, meaning
Ala
quote, Nafal Adam,
Ala Adam.
unquote. The fact that the Lashon, the expression, the phrase in the Mishnah was quote, V'nafal Adam, unquote.
Look, Danny, I didn't learn the Pilu,
Pilu, right?
Pilu, Mishum, because the Lo Mitkaven, he didn't have an intention, Pilu al Adam Mari. He didn't have an intention to knock the wall down on a person. Aval Mikom Makom, nevertheless, the Mitkaven la Pilo. He did have a covenant to make the wall fall, but not on the person, but he did have a covenant to make the wall fall. The Shlo al Adam, that's what he meant. The Shlo al Adam, not Adam Mashma Leidamari. He had a covenant to appeal at the wall, but he didn't have a covenant to dafka on the person, to kill the person.
Right. So,
What?
So that makes him a tam, I guess.
That doesn't make any sense.
okay, first let's
He's
understand
right.
what
He doesn't care if the wall falls. He just doesn't, but the fact that it killed a man, that was unintentional.
But he just said he had kavanah and the wall would fall.
The wall
he
would
does
fall.
care.
Okay.
He does care.
No, he's not the
But
man.
not on the-
He doesn't know about
not
the
on the
man.
man.
He doesn't know the man's there.
He wanted
He wanted the wall
He
to
wants to
fall.
knock the wall down.
He wants to walk to the
Why?
wall.
I don't know.
I don't know.
that's not discussed really, right? So if that's the case, why do you have to have this whole scenario that it's scratching on the wall? Why just say sure should miskabin lehapilu asokoiso? Just sure had kavanah intention to knock down the wall, and it fell on a person, right? That's that. So
So Tosfos is telling us that his understanding is that the ox wanted to knock down the wall but did not want to kill the person.
right, wanted to knock down the wall, right? But not necessarily they wanted to kill the person.
And why is that significant?
Yeah, that would fit in line a little bit more easier with the other three cases. It had the intention to kill this type of a person and killed somebody else instead.
I
It
see.
would be more in line with the rest of the cases, right?
So if the ox had got wandered away
Yeah.
and left a tottering wall, it would be a different case than if the ox was there when the wall and ox actually had pushed the wall down rather than the ox wandered away and then the wall fell.
That's a different case entirely, right? Sure. And what if when your case, for example, or let's say when the ox was rubbing against the wall and made it weak, and there was no one there at the time, right? And then the shore went its merry way, and a person came his dismal way, and he got in the way of this falling down wall falling down.
Yeah.
Did the person have to be there the whole time that the shore was rubbing against the wall?
Right?
What if he came later? Right? Just like the other cases when the shore was aiming, right?
Did the shore calculate that in 5 minutes I'm going to kill this person?
Premeditated, probably not, right?
As long as we're attributing kavanah to a shore.
We've done something like that in the Mishnah much earlier on.
Which
About a man coming up to a wall and the wall falling on him.
Yeah.
I think that's what
It's discussed, but the question is when, at what point, what was the cause of the weakness of the wall that caused it to fall down? So
That was a case of liability of the owner of the wall, because the wall was weak.
right, so you go to the second case. Niskabin laharages a behema. It had intention to kill a behema. Laharages a adam. Right. So what are we talking about here? That you had these two oxen in the arena, and they were goring away at each other. And then a person walked into the arena, and the ox gored the fellow who came into the arena.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be very possible. Because they have clowns, at least in modern bullfights they have clowns. And the purpose of the clown is to distract the bull so that he doesn't kill the rider.
The matador, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
or if the person's riding a bull, there's a contest where a person has to ride a bull.
Sure, right.
The person gets thrown off the bull,
Right.
now the bull turns around and wants to go stomp on him.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
So the clown runs out and distracts him, and then the clown climbs up on the wall and the fence to get away from the bull. So
Yeah.
it certainly happened.
Yeah,
People
sure.
wanted to kill the rider, and he killed the clown instead.
Right, for sure. So is he a Tom or is he a Moon? Is he intending to kill the clown, or is he intending to kill the rider?
Although in this case it would be, like you said, it would be the second. The two bulls are fighting, and
Right.
the clown runs out.
It's having the behemim and Behar gets Adam. He wants to kill that animal and kill that person instead. Right? Har gets Kanani, Behar gets Ben Israel. He wanted to kill the Kanani and wound up
There's two
killing
clowns.
Ben.
One's a Jew and one's
Yeah.
not a Jew.
Nephilim, he was Nephilim. Behar gets Ben
The
Kayem.
clown's a woman, and she has a baby in her arms.
Right? Why is it? Why is it Lashon Nephilim? Why is it Lashon plural? Rachami, what do you say?
What?
Nephilim. Nephil, right? Well, Nephil, or I guess Ben Kayem, no? Why Nephilim? The animal ran into the Beit HaChamah, into the premium unit. Started raging havoc in the premium unit there, and then he got into the other war.
What is Nephilim? What is Nephilim?
The following,
Non-viable non-viable children.
children. Why is it plural? Why is Lashon plural?
That means they won't exist for a year or something?
Yeah, less than 30 days.
30 days.
Any child, listen, we don't do pidyon a ben except for except on the 30th day and onward, because we don't know if the child's going to be
So
viable.
every baby that isn't a month is called
Every baby
It's called
that's
a
less
nefil?
it's not it's called name. It's called nefil. It's non-viable. It doesn't have a what we call a heskes kind. It doesn't have a certified life expectancy. So once he's reached 30 days, then you can certify that he has a life expectancy.
Okay. So why is it plural?
Yes. Why is it plural? What is this doing to us over here?
Yeah, it's really strange. I just thought it was my lack of Hebrew knowledge, but now you're making me realize it's not that.
Any ideas? What's Roy must have some footnote there from art school telling us why it's plural.
Where is this?
This is in the Mishnah.
On the Mishnah.
In the Mishnah. Viable baby. Why is it plural? Babies. They wanted to kill non-viable babies. Why not just a non-viable baby? We have to put 3 extra English letters here. I-E-S.
There's nothing that...
Nothing about it. So you have to tell us about it, bro.
All right then.
Why is it plural? Rachmi, no ideas.
I don't know.
I have to give up to. I have to say, well, do something more simple. I don't know. After tonight, you have to go to the Kailo and you say, what's going on with this Mishnah?
We don't have
Go early, call the rabbi to the side, and say, we've got to ask you this question.
Don't know. It just occurred to me.
I took it up.
And then I have shots in the house in the evening, so
Maybe see what you say. If you say you should, someone should say something. Like Rashi, Rashi says, well, Darshani, the pasuk is screaming out of you, Darshani. Do something with me here. Put in intentionally here. Like this is like they say, signs of intelligent life, you know. It's put here with a purpose, not culture. Okay, well, we'll have to leave that for now. What the secret behind this word Nephilim is. We'll have to figure out what that secret. There's a secret there.
You can also ask, why doesn't it say Ben Nafal?
Ben Nephil.
To be symmetrical with Ben
Right.
Kayama.
Right.
There's no Rashi then, is there? And there's no Tosafos?
No, apparently not.
No anything else?
There's a footnote, but it doesn't address our question.
No. at this point. Okay, we'll have to leave it. I don't have anything to say about it right now at this particular point. Hopefully, let's see if there's anything else.
Again, להרוג את הבהמה והרג את האדם.
Good.
That's number one, right? That's the first one.
Yeah.
Number two is the Kanani.
No, that's actually number two.
How's it
Number
go?
one was first the wall.
Well,
The
that's
wall was one.
שור שהיה מקרה, קוטן נפל האדם. מתכוון להרוג את הבהמה והרג את האדם. That's number two.
Right.
Number three is Kanani והרג בן ישראל.
So in that case, it is singular.
Yeah, they're all saying, all certain except the following. The following was plural for some reason. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it for the time being. Yeah. Okay, let's review the Gemora again. I'm a Shmuel, go ahead. Who would like to... Rockme, I take over a bit?
Okay. מה שמואל פטור ממיתה וחייב בכופר. רב אמר פטור מזה ומזה. It's pטור from מיתה and כופר.
Let's say Maklokas, Shmuel and Rab, right? That the Patur, that the Psak halacha of our Mishnah, that in all four cases the Shur is Patur from Misa. So Shmuel says he's Patur from Misa, but he's Chayav in Koifer. Rav argues, he says Patur Mizeh Mizeh is Patur from both Misa and from Koifer. So now the Gemara asks, Va'amai. Now, the question of Va'amai, is it going on both Rav and Shmuel, just Rav, or just Shmuel?
I think on both ends.
It's going on Shmuel.
Why?
Because it's saying the question about it could be, Shmuel is saying he's chayiv and kofar.
Right.
And a tam doesn't have kofar under any circumstances. So we're questioning why he to be chayiv and kofar. It has to be a woman. So, but now the Gemara is saying, wait a second, in this case isn't talking about a woman at all. It's talking about a tam. It should be a tam we're talking about in this case.
Okay, so if we're talking about a tam, right, so that means that the question is why, if this is a tam, so there should be no reason that he's chayiv in koifer, correct? So that could only be a question directly to Shmuel. Because Shmuel says he's chayiv in koifer, right? It wouldn't be a question to Rav. Is that correct, Rav? You see the logic behind that? Because we want to say it's behechrach. You have to say the question is only directed to Shmuel, not to Rav. Because Rav says he's patur both from Misa and he's also patur from Koifer. Right? So if you can't ask a question on Rav, Maya Tamu, Tam, the question that's behind the scenes when it's asking about a Tam is that Tam should be patur from Koifer.
So it's a question on Shmuel, not
Only on Shmuel, apparently only on
On
Shmuel.
Shmuel.
That's good, we understand that good?
Okay.
Okay, and how do we know that a tam is apparently patur from koifer? That's what we want to use as the strength of our argument. We want to use the argument against Shmuel that a tam is patur from koifer. So how do we know that a tam is patur from koifer?
Because kofar is an atonement, and why would the owner have to atone when he didn't do anything wrong? With the luad, he did something wrong because he was warned, and therefore he should have guarded the luad. But with a tam, he was never warned. There's no reason for him to suspect that the ox would gore or kill in any way. Therefore, why should he have to atone?
Right. Meaning the essence of the chi of koifer is because there's a certain element of negligence on the part of the owner, right? So since the owner was negligent in not properly guarding his now known to be dangerous animal, right? So we have to make koifer because he was negligent in watching his now known to be violent animal. But if it's a tam, you can't say he's negligent because he has no reason to believe that the tam should be doing anything destructive. So there's no essence, in essence, there's no need for a Chiyuv Koifer here. There's no negligence, which is apparently the background obligation of the Chiyuv, the obligation to pay Kofer. So that would only exist by a Mu'ad. Okay. Very good. Let's see. What's the proof? What's Kida Amr? What's this Kida Amr Rav? Yeah, go ahead. No.
Okay. Kedama Rav. Muad. Muad Dipol Al Bnei Adam B'Borot. So Rav is trying to say that it is talking about Muad. Isn't that right?
Kida Amr Rav, right?
Muad Dipol Al Bnei Adam. So Rav is talking about Muad here.
Oh, so 1 second. So we're gonna bring they're gonna bring a statement of Rav, right? And ostensibly, this statement of Rav is going to be used as a question to Shmuel, correct?
No, it's going to answer the question to Shmuel. The question to Shmuel was Tamhu.
Mm-hmm.
So now we want to say, well, we're going to say that it's not a Tamhu.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what Rav said. According to what Rav said, it's a Muad.
Mm-hmm. So you have to understand what's the Gemorah's kavana here when we want to say Kida Amr Rav. What's the Gemorah trying to bring? What at this stage? What direction is the Gemorah taking here? Yeah. What step is the Gemorah Kida Amr Rav? Right.
There was a makshan that said it was a town, so we were trying to answer that and say that it's not talking about a town, it's talking about more. He gives an example. Okay.
Okay. That's clearly what we're trying to do. We're trying to prove what we're trying to prove from Rav, right? That what are we talking about over here?
Yes, more than
We're talking about a mu'ad, right?
More, yeah.
So from Rav, we're going to try and get to prove that we're talking. Our Mishnah here is talking about a mu'ad.
Right.
If our Mishnah is talking about a mu'ad, right? So therefore, we can understand why Shmuel should say is chayev for koifer. Pater for misa is chayev in koifer.
Right.
So let's reverse the whole situation and ask Rav al Rav. Rav says he's pater zeh mezeh. Rav said in our Mishnah, Pshat in our Mishnah, Rav is saying he's pater for misa and pater from koifer.
Is it the same Rav?
Yeah.
Rav is Rav.
Yeah.
Ah, that's interesting.
That's what I was saying. It's a more also. Why doesn't he pay kofet? Because he's not niska. He didn't cover up. Doesn't mean he's a time. He's a more.
Oh, so hold on. We're getting close to the point, maybe, that we're bringing Rav to try and answer the question we asked on Shmuel, right? But Rav himself said in our Mishnah is pater from misa and pater from koifer, and from Rav we're going to prove that Shmuel was valid in his assessment, even though he argued with Rav himself. But we can say that Shmuel would in fact say he could be chayev pater from misa and yet chayev in koifer, because we see here that b'mud pull up and they adam b'boros, right? Hakanami is mur l'chakik al b'nei adam b'koslik.
So we'll say Rav agrees with Shmuel that it's a mu'ad, but he still doesn't agree with him about the issue of kofir.
Right.
He says that even though it's a mu'ad, he doesn't pay kofir because bli kavana.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
Shmuel says kavana is the key. Shmuel says kavana doesn't matter because kofir is atonement for the owner, not the ox. The kavana of the ox is irrelevant. The owner still had a responsibility to guard the ox and was therefore negligent. Therefore, he has to pay kofir. It doesn't matter whether he had kind of a kavana or not.
Because why? Because you see from this Amar Rav, the more they pull up the Neyadim with Boros. You see this such a thing as a cow that's muad to fall upon people who are in boros, right?
Economic,
In our case, he's muad, go ahead.
to rub against walls on people.
What are you laughing at?
Because I read it that way on purpose, to rub against walls on people.
Because if you read that way, then it's gonna you ruin the whole soup here, right?
Lehiska keich al b'nei adam salim, with walls. Or in walls, I suppose you could read the bed.
Well, I would say muad lischachik al b'nei adam because he's muad to crush people against walls. That's how I read it.
A third way to understand.
No, Roy, wouldn't you read it that way? He's muad to crush people against walls. Doesn't that fit in with the lashon?
Al B'nai Adam, rubbing on people. Al B'nai is rubbing on men. With the wall.
Muad lischachik al b'nei adam because he's muad to crush people against walls. He's crushing his chachik al b'nei adam. He's rubbing against a person
A wall.
on a wall. He's crushing people against walls. That's how I tell you say it in English.
So, the ox is moored here in this case. So, by what right or what process do we say? Therefore, by what process do we compare it related to the ox in this Mishnah?
That's a secondary question. I just want to understand what the words mean. How are we going to relate it to our Mishnah, or how are we going to try? Again, with this statement, we're trying to say the kasha from Shmuel. Shmuel's under attack right now, right? Shmuel's under attack by the means of the fact that
Presumption that it's a tom.
right. If it's a tam, then there's no reason why it should be chai. There should be a chiyuv of koifer, right? So that's the attack that the Gemora is raising upon Shmuel, and it's now trying to blunt the attack by using this statement of Rav, right? Meaning Rav, the opponent of Rav against Shmuel is now being used as the same opponent is using as a blunt to blunt the attack on Shmuel, right?
Okay, so why use that one? Why bring that one in? What?
Because I didn't write the Gemora. If I wrote the Gemora, may I bring something else in? I didn't write it.
Why,
I wasn't around then.
Yeah, no, I think, how do you say it relates to it? How do you say because of this, therefore that?
It was said because the Gemara is saying, right, Ramai, we asked Ramai Hatam, why should it be a Chiyuv Koifer? Shmuel, we're asking Shmuel, why should it be a Chiyuv Koifer? It's a Tam. So Shmuel would say to you, Kida Amar Rav, like Rav tells you. Everyone knows what Rav says, but more the Wolal B'nei Adam B'Boros. That it's a case, the case we're talking about, that it's a muad. You see a case that Rav said that he's muad to fall on people in boros. Then what does it mean? What does it mean that he's muad to pull up on boros? What does that mean? He jumps on people in boros. He sees an innocent, helpless person in the bottom of a pit, and he jumps on him. Right?
What's it do with walls?
Nothing to do with walls. It's a different case entirely.
Right. So what's it do with ramming people? Goring people? Nothing.
But even the Bar's case,
Nothing to do
even
with
the
it.
case where he was trying for the person, it's still a below.
Well, that's going to be the decoy of the Gemara.
Right.
But at this point in the Gemara,
you think that he's not going for the person. He's
Right.
going for something else on the wall.
Yeah,
and the guy gets in the way.
Yeah, right. Okay, he falls, he slips, he sees the nice back cabbage on the rim of the pit, and he goes for the cabbage and he slips and he falls on people. But that's not what it's saying here, right? He's more lipoil al b'nei adam b'boros. So this lashon lipoil, right? This lashon lipoil is an active thing or is a passive thing, right? Is it an active verb or a passive verb?
So what do you say?
Leave it. The mu'id lipol al b'nei adam, the boros. Okay, good Shabbos. Let's see what's on
Good
the
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Is what fall.
Take a
I don't know
look
if it's passive or active.
Take a look at, there's a Rashi over here. It's in sort of the middle of the wide lines, right? Lemur lipol al b'nei adam b'boiros, right?
Got it.
The kaiman b'shur shenogig esapar. Over there later on, mem ches amid beis. Yeah? So maybe it's worth it a while to take a look there for a moment. If you have it there, mem ches amid beis. I don't know if I have it in mind over here. Probably not. No, don't forget the word.
Here you go, just take one.
Clear, thank you. Let's see. Memphis Summit Base.
Okay, got it. Now we're on page
Hold on. Yeah, it's about a third of the way down. Right? You have two dots. Is Haya Avi Vobono B'Toricho Mishalim Esukut Ramai Hatambu. It's almost a direct quote from us. Ramai Hatambu.
What's the first word on the line?
First, Ha Esa Koifer.
Yes.
Esa Koifer. You have to pay koifer. It's a similar thing. You have to see. You have to pay koifer. You see that this cow has to pay koifer, or the owner of the cow has to pay koifer. You have it there,
Esa Kofir, got it.
right?
Where is this?
Here,
About a third of the way down.
there, right here. So it's in the
Esa koifer is the first words in the line. He has to pay
Esa Kofir.
esa koifer. Amai hatamhu. Why should he pay koifer? This cow is an innocent tam, right? It's an innocent tam. So the teretz to that is Amarav, B'mur, Lipol, Ab, and the other B'boy, Shuskin. We're talking about that it's a mur to fall upon people that are in pits. Right? The Gemora
Right.
says,
Okay, same exact word.
right, the Gemora says, Ihachi, Aleph, Hey, Ihachi, if so, the Gemora says, Ihachi, if so, Bar Katalahu. If this cow, right, intentionally falls upon people when they're helpless in the pit, right? This sure needs to be eliminated. He's a bar kadol. He's sentenced. He's subject to the death penalty, right?
Let's see, I found it over here. Yes, here.
I want to take it home.
How many times I forget it?
I want to take it
It's
home.
not the first time I forgot
Page.
it.
Kofir.
Oh, maybe it's a different Gemara there. Maybe it's the first word in line in this Gemara.
Should be the same.
There's a colon after Kofir. You can find a colon, maybe you can find it.
What's the first words?
Et HaKofir. Oh, here. Right here, see? Before my
Get
finger?
the coffee. Okay, so that's not this Gemara. Okay.
So the Gemara asks, right? Has to pay koifer v'amad. Why should it pay koifer? Hatamu. This is a cow. This is a cow's a tam. He's an innocent cow. Doesn't have to pay koifer. Amarav. We're talking. Rav gives an answer. We're talking about more than full al ben amaboros iskina. Talking about a cow that is intentionally killing people by jumping upon them in boros, in pits.
Right. So it's active.
Yeah. Ihachi. The Gemara says Ihachi. This is a cow that has to be sentenced to death. If it goes ahead intentionally jumping on people helplessly in boars, so it's going to have to be put to death, this cow. Right?
So what? So it's Bar Katala. He still pays Kofir.
In that case, it would. But the question is, then we'll have to. So
We're talking Mita.
yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, what?
That's the Patoa Mita.
relates to our
That was important Mita for his Chayv Skile.
the goat.
Thank you.
What's that again?
Pardon?
What was that again?
so if it's a mu'id, right? If it's a mu'id, it has to be eliminated. Bar Katalo, he has to be killed, right? So, we say, Amar Rav Yosef, the Chaza Yorka Menofel. It saw, how did it kill these people? Right? It saw a vegetable on the rim of the boar and fell into the boar.
So it's not Barkatala.
Shmuel Amar, here we get Shmuel involved here also. Shmuel Amar Ha'amani, who is this? Rav Yossi, it's Rav Yossi. Amar Rav Yossi Galili, it's Rav Yossi Galili. So Amar Kiribi Tarfin. The Tana Karen, that's gonna, okay, that more goes on to a different case. Okay.
So what have we got?
We got like this, that this cow was going after its lunch, right? And it was so hungry to eat this cabbage, right, that it didn't realize that there was a boar behind the pit behind the cabbage, and went charging to get its cabbage, and instead of landing in the cabbage patch, it landed in the pit. Landed in the pit. There was an unsuspecting person at the bottom of the pit, and when the shore hit the guy and killed him 3 times.
So it's shocking.
Yeah, it could be, but although it's called a mood though, however.
It might be a mood, but a mood can be shocking.
Mood can be a shege. Well, I'll ask you, what about our Mishnah? It has intention to kill these Nephilim and it kills a Bar Ben Kayam. Is that a shege?
No.
No?
He
He wanted to kill a non-viable babies and he killed a viable baby.
oh, that's not nice. He's a shogeg for who he killed, but not that he killed.
Just happened to have bad aim, right?
Right.
If he had good aim, he would have killed the person who would have killed the thing he wanted to kill. If he had bad aim, he killed something else.
Bad angle.
But this case of the Eric, it's not bad aim. He aimed for the cabbage. He got the cabbage, but he didn't realize that included with the cabbage is the boar.
Yeah, but he could have aimed for the babies, but the others were in the way. He didn't see, or he may wherever.
So is the point here that if the muad, if the ox did not have intention, it's not a muad?
Right. To be a muad, you have to have intention. You have to have intention to be a muad.
So in our
intention
Mishnah,
to do what?
To kill.
To kill what?
What it set out to kill. If it set out to kill a cow, it had to kill a cow. If it set out to kill a Kanani, you have to kill a Kanani.
Right.
so in our Mishnah, what we're saying is that even though the ox killed the man, but indirectly through knocking the wall on him,
Right.
nevertheless it could be a muad because it could have done this 3 times, and therefore we would say the probability is that it did have intention. That's correct?
Well, the fact that the cow is doing this consistently lends us to suggest that there's going to be a chiyuv kofer here, because the owner should now take precautions. He sees that his cow is acting strangely, deadly strangely, and therefore he should take precautions. If he didn't take precautions, he's negligent. Because of his negligence, he's going to have to take kofer. Okay, we'll continue next Hashem.